Partridge, and welcome to Critical Gym. This is the show where we work through various maps, most of which are awesome, and we try and find out what we can learn from them, or at least see if we can spot any areas where they could have been improved upon. Joining me today is Darren Weeks, or Daz. Hello, Darren.
Hey, how's it going?
I am very well, thank you. I was just explaining to Darren that my house is opposite a big park in London called Finsbury Park. And today they have a big charity event going on just over the road, and he reliably informs me you can't hear the music blaring through the windows from the loudspeakers across the road, but we'll see. But if you do hear any popular tunes, then that's where they're coming from. So today we are working through a year-long alarm which came out. Darren, when did it come out? Help me, I should know this.
Oh man,
is it a year ago?
Like a year ago?
Yeah, I was going to say about a year ago, I think. And I have to admit, so this map was suggested by I'm going to pronounce it wrong now. Minami, is that right? I always get it wrong.
Yeah, I do.
And it sort of it struck me as as a map that I'd forgotten about, to be honest. Not exactly forgotten about, but it hadn't entered my thoughts for this. And the reason why it hadn't is because it's awesome, quite frankly. Year-Long Alarm was a map that I really, really enjoyed. And it looks great, it plays well, and, but the fact is that I like it so much that I just really wanted to talk about it. So we may not have quite so much critical element to it, but we're certainly going to look through it and see what we can see. So I'm not sure. I'm trying to keep these down to less than 2 hours now because they started to run on a little long. And the map itself isn't hugely long. It's only one map, and yet you get a surprisingly large amount of gameplay out of it. But let's get going, and we'll see where we end up.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a surprisingly large map for a single BSP. It's
and it's a
small to compile.
It's a small download as well, which I really appreciate. It's only like 30 megs, something like that. It's pretty small.
Yeah.
And for the quality of what's there, it's great.
It's a very well thought out map. That's something I noticed almost immediately, actually, when I first played it. A lot of thought put into the areas and progression and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
definitely. And I really like the intro, fading in from white and turning that into the flash of the what do we call this? Security bot.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice observation. I hadn't picked up on that, but yeah, I see it now.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of did something similar deep down where you come in from a flash and the sound of an explosion, and you sort of, but it's an interesting way to sort of fade in from white or from black. So, okay, we start out in just a warehouse, which is, and everything in this map is incredibly well detailed. I mean, the map itself just looks great.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and there's certain details like the like the shadows on the wall over to the right hand side, and you can tell it's been. I'm trying to remember the what do you call it? The light map on the wall, is done really well because the shadows are really picked out and really clean.
Yeah, and, the light map scale.
Yeah, and he's used the beam models as well, the light beam models really well.
Yeah.
So it's so this kind of thing, we're just going to sing its praises basically, I think, which kind of negates the point, but it's fine. So what other things? So let's have a look. I mean, we've got a bit of an. I remember Philip distinctly attempting to get out of the map with the big hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Which is, it's an interesting point, and I'm not one for doing that personally. It's just not something that that occurs to me to do very often, and it's kind of frustrating from a design perspective, just because I broke my box. I just broke one of my crates, and now I can't get up there. But they both broke. Oh well. Anyway, but it's not something that occurs to me necessarily when I'm building, and then when I test, and suddenly players start to find all sneaky ways out of the map and that kind of thing, I get very frustrated. It's not. It's not. Well, that's not fun. Why is that fun? But
it's one of those things though. So they're like, what do you call it? what am I trying to say? They're really good beta testers, the people that do try and do that, because they will find all the stuff in your map which is broken.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'll take boxes from the very first room to the end of the map. It will be that one box they need to stack to get out of the map, and they'll find it for you. Like, thank you.
But there is almost that thing of like, well, if you really want to get out, then I should let you. You know, there's no fun without the payoff at the end. So I've just come up onto the walkway and we get the combine running by. Which is, you know, I thought it was a nice touch, and I thought it sort of I can't remember the word. You know, it's essentially setting things up for later.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice because you blink and you'll miss it. It's very subtle.
Yeah,
it's cool.
And you know, we go up, we get the crowbar, we find the switch isn't working, and this is an interesting theme, and it comes back. I mean, essentially, he's used the same mechanism several times throughout the map, which in some ways, and I'll come back to this later on, in some ways is good because it's training the player what to do, and it's saying, you know, here it is, and this is going to come back to us later on, and then in other ways I found it kind of repetitive, as being the same puzzle over and over. But it does make logical sense, because the nice thing is that if you find the plug first and plug it in and then come up to the top and hit the switch, then, you know, all the pieces are there. But there's also the opportunity to, you know, come back to the switch which isn't working and then work out that the plug's not connected, and that's why the switch wouldn't work. Yeah. Which, you know, in a real world logically doesn't make any sense, but at the same time it still works, you know?
Yeah, it's nicely presented as well, because you've got the gap in the window which kind of naturally makes you want to look through it, and then you look down and you see the cable there on the side, and then you can see it change colour when you release the lever on the top. So it kind of flows together really well. It leads the player around in the correct way. It's very nice. I like it.
And actually, I think that is one thing that we're going to be coming back to quite a lot, is the sight lines in almost all areas of the map. It's amazing, and actually it's a lot more subtle than you think, you know, than most people will realise. Okay, so I'm getting in the lift. I'm not sure where you're at, but that's what I'm doing. And
I'm not too far behind.
Okay. And this is something, what happens now when I hit the lift is something that I've been wanting to do for ages, which is you know, have the combine rush in just as you're heading down in a lift or something. And what I really wanted to do was have sort of bulletproof glass on the lift door and have the combine run up and start kicking the glass.
Yep.
But I still have never put that into a map myself, which is kind of annoying. One thing I did want to ask you to do, Darren, is if you can keep an eye on the chat. I'm not sure if anyone's even listening to us, but it's fine.
Yeah, no, I've got the chat up.
Thank you. Cool. Let me know any points that come up, because I always struggle to do that for some reason when I'm actually playing.
I do like as you descend the lift, the combine come into the room, like you said. I do like that, because it's subtle. It doesn't really get in the player's face too much, but it just gives you that hint of, okay, there's a threat looming, and
or they're sort of they're a bit behind you, but they're on their way.
They're in the back of your mind all the way through.
Yeah.
So when they finally catch up to you, it's like, okay, here they come.
So the next section, you know, really highlights something me and Darren have spoken about many times before, when you come down the lift, and that's, you know, the whole map's laid out for you in front of you, or at least this section of the map is.
It's great.
And it really, it's a sort of a lesson that we've seen in quite a lot of different maps, and, you know, once again, the player doesn't necessarily know what all these things mean or what they're used for, but it's all there for you to see, and it's all there so you can start making sense of it. And even if it doesn't register on a cognitive level, it's there in the back of your mind, you know, as to, here I am in this space, and this is where I've been in this space.
Yeah. And the lighting as well, it helps you kind of organise where you are when you re-emerge into this atrium from the different areas. You're like, okay, there's a light area, I know where that is, and then you come out later onto that dark area right in front of you, and you're like, okay, I'm here now. It lets you orient yourself much better. Yeah, so it works really well.
No, I think that's it's really true. I mean, maybe some different coloured lighting or something like that might have given you more of a visual cue. And,
yeah, totally.
I mean, obviously, a lot of the architecture in the different areas is quite similar if you look at it. So you aren't necessarily getting the landmarks. I mean, the lift is a big landmark, obviously, there's a few other bits and pieces. There's a big 257 on the wall down there, and a few other bits and pieces. But a few more visual landmarks to really sort of jump out for the player to see where I am. And we've seen that in other maps, I think, or certainly in the official maps.
Yep.
So one of the things that really stands out to me on this mod as well is the amount of hidden goodies everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's great. I mean, I think the other thing which makes me very, very happy and makes me very excited is the fact that you get a gravity gun. Yay! And it really, I earlier on today I played through and pretty much, apart from when you get into the major combat at the end, I stuck to using the gravity gun all the way. You can absolutely do that. It's a perfectly viable weapon, for almost the entire map, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, totally. It never used to bother me that much, actually. A couple of years back, I was like, okay, there's no gravity gun, I can deal with it, but it bothers me so much more these days. I guess just got so used to using it in all the big mods that when it's missing, it feels so wrong now.
Yeah, and I mean, I've said this before.
It's great that it's here.
Yeah, I've said it before in the fact that I do think that the gravity gun is what makes Half-Life 2 special. It's what makes Half-Life 2, it's what brings the magic, essentially.
Totally.
Because it's your ability to manipulate your environment to your benefit. Oh.
Yep.
And, handily you can kill headcrabs with them. Although I have to admit, I just lost one. There he is. Which is a bit of an anomaly, really, isn't it? That you can only hit headcrabs with the, with the grav gun.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just due to their size. It's like you can punt small objects, so maybe it just counts them as a small object.
Yeah, it's organic matter. It shouldn't work. So one other point I think now, while I'm in the central atrium bit, and I'm still here, is that I think this would have been better as a never-ending drop in the centre. There's something, I guess it's going back to my old Star Wars days, and interestingly this evening I'm going to the Secret Cinema Empire Strikes Back thing in London. I don't know if you know about this. It's like an interactive cinema experience where you go and they've actually got a full sort of X-Wing and and all this other cool
I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, it's awesome. You should check it out.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, so you have to go dressed up as like a rebel soldier and everything. I've got my outfit. I went to Camden Market and bought a rebel soldier and put together a rebel soldier outfit. Anyway, so I'm off to do that tonight. But the thing I love about Star Wars is you get these never-ending voids, like in the Cloud City and stuff like that,
yeah,
or in the Death Star. You get these endless drops, and I really, really like them, and I think that would have been nice here as well, just to sort of emphasize the danger of the drop, so to speak.
Yeah. I think it works the way it is because there's no light. There's a little bit of ambient light down at the bottom there, so it does look like a death fall. But I see what you're saying. Yeah.
There's I guess it's mixing the otherworldly with, or sort of the sort of the more fantastical with the realism of it.
Yeah.
And I think what this is quite a nice area. Also, sorry, let's talk about the aesthetic of it, which is obviously the episode 2 mines kind of feel.
Yep.
And I really love, as you probably guessed, the overhanging buildings over the top of the sort of never-ending void thing. I've done.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It looks amazing, and we don't see it that often. It's not a sort of an area that's really been picked up too often. I think Station 51 had kind of a bit of it, which is probably the reason why I picked it. For running through on this as well, I've got a sort of a subconscious. I'm drawn to this stuff, but yeah, I really love it as an aesthetic. I think it works really well.
Yeah, it's done great here as well. You've got the light cascading in over one side. It's it's really nice. Then you've got the citadel blowing up in the background as well.
Yeah, and that's
really nice parallax there.
It sort of puts you in a certain point in time, doesn't it? Essentially, we're in episode 1 here.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't really matter. It just makes for a fantastic skyline. But it's almost sort of mixing episode 1 and episode 2.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I've been reading on. Okay, so actually, sorry, I'm onto the broken staircase now with the with the barnacle on the far side, which is a sneaky move, but but I quite liked it.
Got me first time.
Yeah, I think you got everybody. One thing to talk about is no, it's changed now. That's weird. This morning when I played this, my weapon tree was all messed up. So I had my gravity gun and my crowbar were in the sort of slot 3.
Oh, weird.
Which was really throwing me off, and it really, it made me, and I was going to have a moan about it, but now it's all gone back to normal. I've no idea what's going on there.
Oh no, we can't do critical gym.
Oh no, that was my one thing. Okay, so dropping down, and then we can sort of see through to a mine sort of shaft area that we're going to move into in a while. We've got a zombie banging on the window, and once again we've got our 3 switches with our red switch, so hopefully that should trigger in the player's mind that we're, we're back to the same mechanic that we've seen before.
And the zombie banging on the window is like the visual interest, so it brings you to here, so you spot the lever there.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's exactly why he's there. Very good. Yeah. And I just got crept up on by a zombie I didn't even know was there a minute ago. Okay, so turning round, looking at the lift, you've got the vent leaning up against the fence. Can you see that? I don't know if you're you are where I am. And of course that's a really nice trigger to go, oh, there's a vent covering. There's probably a vent, and it really does draw you in, and yeah, very well done.
Nice. There's a couple of things like this where just the strong visual language of Half-Life 2 just allows him to just put a vent cover there, and people automatically know like what to look for.
Yeah, it's subtle, but it works really well, and I don't think I had considered doing that before. I think it's quite clever. Now, one thing I will say is that the plug that's hanging off the edge, I think is a bit hidden. It's difficult to spot. I certainly didn't spot it the first time, so I sort of did a big loop, came all the way back, and then found it the second time.
Yeah, it is a bit hidden. I agree.
Whether that's on purpose or not, or whether it's just that's the way
I think it was kind of banking on the fact that the player had done one of these previously at the start of the map, so he would just automatically look right next to it for one. But I think it's been a little bit too much time. I completely forgotten about that first part of the map by the time I got here.
Yeah.
So,
gotcha.
Yeah, I don't think it worked too well.
I also, as I say, I mean, coming back to it, here we are doing the same puzzle again, essentially, and I think that it would have been nice to maybe up the ante a little, if you know what I mean, to up the complexity. I mean, fine, we've got the concept, thank you, but now I think each time you should be iterating on it. Like later on, there's a great section where we have to go and find the plug and actually get the plug to drop down, which is handled really well. It just would have been nice to have seen a bit more complexity built into it, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So the other thing I found is because of the sort of the sneaky hidden bonuses, I really was on the hunt most of the time, and it made the map a lot more fun. And I think there's a really big lesson there to be learned about hiding goodies and hiding them well.
Totally.
It really adds replayability to the map, and this is my 3rd or 4th playthrough, and I'm still finding things that I hadn't necessarily found before.
The nice thing about this map as well is that in a lot of maps that have all over the place is that it becomes kind of almost generic after a while. Yeah. You just behind those stairs.
Oh no,
it gets kind of boring.
Yeah.
But here it just feels great every time. Like, they're always different. There's a lot of variety in where they're hidden, so you never quite know where the stuff is going to be. You have to really explore, which I like.
Yeah, I think there's a sort of a fine balance between having them everywhere and having enough of them to make it interesting.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, poo. I'm not doing very well. There's not really... It's interesting. I guess I've got a gun. I should use it, maybe. But I was enjoying using the gravity gun and not having to use weapons. So I'm now looking for physics props to use in the big generator room with the zombies. And there aren't enough of them. A saw blade might have been nice. Oh, there are once you jump down. Actually, there's some barrels in a rack, but yeah. I must admit
more stuff.
Yeah, I think a bit more variety in the physics props area would have been good. In the fact that I must when I played through this earlier, I must have killed about almost every zombie with a barrel, and that got kind of samey, to be honest.
Yeah.
So now I'm into the area with the hanging beam on the rope.
I like this.
It's a good mechanic, and it's and I like the little the little puzzle solve noise that comes up when you.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I've actually picked up on that particular sound effect before, or music, or whatever it is, and it is almost like a. I think I used it for a sort of a reveal or picking up a collectible or something like that.
Yeah, I think it harkens back to like the Quake and like old school FPS days, where if you do find a secret, you know, you get that little like well done sound, basically.
Yeah, got it. And I really like that stuff. I mean, it's a bit. I think you would say, in your words, it's a bit gamey. But
yeah, totally.
I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. I'm a bit of a a gamey kind of guy, and a lot of the stuff I put in my maps tends to be quite gamey. But I think actually that's one thing that did make me a little. That certainly stuck out to me about this is the fact that there isn't really that much gamey stuff going on. It's very, very standard Half-Life Explore pickup, stuff.
Yeah.
And there isn't really much difficulty going on. I mean, I've only used the gravity gun. I'm a fair way through this now, and I'm still on 93 health. And to be honest, almost all the way through until I got to the combat, my health didn't suffer at all. I was in no danger whatsoever. It was fun picking it all apart and finding what I needed, but it's not a challenging map at all. And I think that some environmental puzzles and that kind of thing might have been a bit nice. Especially bearing in mind...
It's definitely much more of like an immersive and I guess like exploration kind of map rather than, a very classical kind of difficult combat map.
Yeah,
definitely aims to like... it's more cerebral, I think, than kind of Twitch combat based.
Yeah.
I guess it's nice to have that variety because some maps can be really bloody hard.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's a third angle though that you've got puzzles and that kind of thing, and this kind of exploration and puzzle stuff, and then you've got combat. But then there's also a third thing, which is you can do sort of environmental challenges.
Yep.
Now, some people don't like them. Fair enough. I got a fair bit of flack for my lift moving around thing in Aftermath, if you remember. The lifts going up and down like crazy.
Oh yes.
That kind of thing. Now, it's a bad example of it, but at the same time, there is that kind of element of gameplay which is, I think sometimes missing, and it is actually, I think it's present in Half-Life, certainly Half-Life 1, less so in Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
But it's still, it's a way of bringing in extra new gameplay that people haven't really seen before. That I think is worth doing. Oh, there's a G-Man. I have a G-Man sighting.
I wonder how many of them there are in this map. I think I've spotted one or two.
I've only spotted one. It's probably the most obvious one. He's probably around, but I was probably busy shooting things at the time. Okay,
yeah,
so yeah. I am... Okay, so I'm moving through the... I've got the area that's covered, that's sort of blocked off by crates. Oh, head crab. There we go. So I'm trying to spot... Okay, yeah, so now I'm sort of heading... where it's got the... There's a ladder heading down into the very well-lit section?
Yep.
Okay. So this sort of area, this whole area, I quite liked. I thought it was quite well put together, and I think this is the point where you really head off into a sort of a fairly long loop until eventually you come back to the main area again.
If I remember right, I think I was fairly critical of that in my video because you kind of forget where you are in like the big atrium. You keep re-emerging into it and having that grand sense of like, oh, I'm here now. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then with this part here, I think you were out of that for a little bit too long.
Gotcha.
The room started to feel just like room corridor room. It lost a bit of its kind of epic feel.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We're definitely into. I mean, I understand from a mapping perspective why that's attractive because it's. I might actually just knock the music down a second. Hang on a second. The game music is rather loud, but here's a good question. That's not going to make any difference, is it? Oh, it did. So he didn't just whack it onto an ambient generic. Yes, he did it properly. That's interesting. Just for those people that don't know, you can actually either do music in games in maps as a sound effect actually within the map, or you can set them up as proper music tracks. And if you set them up as
something I've never done.
exactly. Whereas, so if you set it up as a sound effect in the map itself, then the music volume option doesn't make any difference to it at all. You can't turn the music down.
Yes, and you get that weird effect if you like jump into water. The music track will get all bubbly as well.
Yeah,
that's the classic one. It's like,
yeah.
I didn't actually know anything about setting music properly, so yeah. There you go. Today I learned.
There you go. So he's certainly one up on us. Oh, that's cool. I shortcutted the map a little there. So in the room with the big boiler, I don't know if you know what I mean. You can actually come up the. You can use barrels and jump up onto the piping on the edge and reach the walkway above it, which I
that's
think
cool. I
to
don't
me,
think I've ever noticed that before.
Yeah, I think to me you can. That's basically. Yeah, I've just shortcutted a big section of the map there. Interesting. So you know
I wonder
that
if that's deliberate or if it's an accident. It feels deliberate because the pipe there is kind of asking to be jumped on, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
I kind of like that.
Oh, that's
if the player notices a shortcut, then why not let them use it? If
yeah, definitely. And also, just when you're up on that pipe, there's a grate that you can gravity gun through and push one of the crates, and that's quite a clever secret because you can't see it from the other side. If you go around to the other corner, in order to be able to get access to it, you have to punt it from this side and then pick it up from the other side.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's very clever. Right, I don't want to shortcut the map, so I'm going to drop back down and keep going through to the area with the dangly. Oh, yeah, the dangly girder, the second dangly girder. Which, you know, if you come up with a mechanic and you like it, this one definitely ups the ante because this is more like a bowling alley, which I thought was quite good. And if you don't get them on the first one, you can get them on the flip side when it starts coming back down the thing, which worked really well.
This was really cool because it's like lying there right in front of you. You know exactly what it's for.
Yeah.
So it's just a case of punting it forwards and enjoying the show, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, and I mean, what I really like is the fact that he's pulled together various elements, like the physics elements and the connector, you know, the various phys elements in the game, and it's and come up with something reasonably new. I mean, it's not completely new, but it's certainly a new mechanic that people, you know, can enjoy. And there's still so much you can do with the hammer editor and the physics entities that people really, you know, I haven't seen done yet.
Yeah, totally.
And there's still infinite new combinations of gameplay and fun that we could probably come up with.
It's amazing just how robust the system is, because you think about it, this game's like, what, 10 years old now?
Yeah.
Like 10, 11 years old now?
Yeah.
Or at least the physics system is, and it's still amazingly complex, and you can put so much stuff into it and it still works. It's
yeah, and I think it's
amazing, really.
The reason for that, and it's actually quite clever in the way they built things, is because it's modular, and everything is. They didn't create a single entity that creates a dangling, you know. And actually, a lot of the more recent games that I've seen would just give you a dangling, you know, girder. And it's
you have lots of
prefabs
without the without the detailed entity setup. Yeah,
and I've seen that in quite a few games. But then you see sort of extra functionality. For example, I was watching. Oh, there's a great video on YouTube of a guy who takes on Lost Coast and does everything purely with the with the harpoon. Like just literally completes it with the harpoon, which is amazing.
Nice.
Although I still can't work out quite how he took down the helicopter at the end. But he manages to make it most of the way through, which is pretty cool. So what I'm looking for now is the other end of that. You know, I said earlier on I punted that those goodies through the.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Is it around here where you are now?
I think it must be in the office. I think it's behind. Hang on. Oh, this is cool. This is a really good little mystery. I think it's behind these.
Behind the 9mm ammo.
It's not
1 hour later.
Yeah, exactly. It's not in the office. I can't believe people tuned in for this. Where is it? Let's see. So that's that.
It's another great example of like the map being a complex physical space rather than just a room corridor room linear progression, which a lot of maps kind of fall into.
If you fold the area together, then you get the opportunity to do things like this, where you can, break through walls and add extras, which is brilliant. I cannot find this. Maybe I've... Oh, I know, I'm in the wrong place, that's why. That's okay. Go away, zombie. It was further on than I thought it was. Yeah.
But it's nice because even some of these crawl spaces and stuff you're going through now, it's just like they're there to create loops, and you can explore them or you can't. It's there if you want it.
Yeah.
Like there's sometimes supplies, there sometimes aren't. There sometimes just gives you a quick way back to another area of the map. It's very old school actually.
Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, it's not quite sprawling though, the way I think you mean in old school. Like for example, with the Rise of the Triad or something like that, where it just goes on forever and the maps, and there are a lot of areas which are inconsequential and and essentially are just a bit of a red herring. I can't get back up there. I'm going to go the long way around. Failed. Sorry.
Yeah, that's got to be deliberate. Putting that pipe there, it just seems.
Yeah.
It seems way too convenient.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so it's actually later on. Right, let's see what we can find out. Right, so I'm heading out of that area now, and
right.
See, I've now got 100 health and 53 shield. There is nothing here that threatens me in any way, which is a shame. Oh, now I'm still trying to find... Right, so that was there. I don't get it. I need this. I have to have it.
Yeah. Got to get those batteries, man.
Hang on. Right, so it's there. Here. Is there a right-hand turn? Oh, there's a right-hand turn later on, I think. No, that's...
It's one of those cerebral secrets, isn't it? Where you do something early, you have to remember for later on.
I think you have to go all the way back to get it. I think it's... Because the area that I've just come out in, looking at it, it comes back out onto the...
Oh, you could be right, actually.
It is. Right, I'm having this, sorry. But there's no point in doing this show unless we're going to actually, make the most of it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm sure I remember finding that in my playthrough as well, but it's been so long, I just can't remember.
What good are you? Why do I bring you on this show when you can't even help me? Right, so I am now back out to the main area, almost. Almost. Oh, no, this is annoying. Right, okay, so I'm back out. That's where I was looking through. Found it! It's even got a lambda symbol on it. Wonderful. Got it. And I don't even need the bullets. I'm full on. I can't even pick up what it was that was there to pick.
All of that for 9mm ammo we don't even need.
I must admit, the 9mm ammo is everywhere in this map, in these maps. And as I say, people like me don't even use it, but still. Still, satisfaction. I managed to find what I needed. That's good. And actually, when you think about it, like if you were to eagle-eyed and spotted it earlier, then you get a nice kind of preview of the area you're about to go into later on.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is pretty cool, and even the opportunity to clear the zombies out, probably.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That's a nice kind of reward for a secret, I guess, is being able to make an area easier later on by clearing out enemies early. That's kind of a cool idea.
Okay, right. I'm heading
back
all
to
the
the
way back around again. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't matter. I have satisfaction. So
these areas are really nice to look at.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you think of a comparable sort of map?
I want to say, what was that map? Was it in one of the villas? No, it was in the... What was that Interlopers competition? Not the one with Planet Phillip, their own one.
Oh, was it the one... Oh, don't know. Sorry.
I can't remember
whatever it is, I want to play it.
there was one level in there which was made by a 3D artist, so it looked absolutely beautiful. I don't think it played too well. It really frustrated me, but like visually, it was absolutely beautiful. I can't remember what it was called, but it kind of reminds me of that a little. Yeah, it was really nice looking.
Cool. Okay, so I'm into a bit of combat.
Just can't remember the name of it right now.
And I actually did pretty well in this combat with just the gravity gun.
Yep.
And whenever I have a gravity gun and a manhack and a bad guy, I have to use that combo. Oh, I missed him. Come here, you.
I like the way this area is set up, because you've got the one Metro Cop comes in the door at the start. They don't just all bum rush you. It's kind of like set up very nicely, where there's a couple up there at the end, and you know, there's railings.
It's got it
so
covers
just all
the
run at you.
Yeah, it covers the angles, so to speak, to make it a bit more challenging. And it's true of the outdoor combat later on as well. Is that the combat is set up really well. And yeah, absolutely. And here they are, not rushing at me. The guy's staying back. He's staying in cover, and I'm having to duck in and out, and and take shots at them, which is very nice.
Yeah, I feel like these guys in the room are probably triggered after you come down the stairs.
Yeah, definitely. I think the combat itself is definitely working that way. But it's set up in a. I think it's set up correctly. I'd love to decompile it and see what and see what's going on here. Because he's certainly not using. He's not using NPC like clip to stop them from coming through, which I do because that's lazy. I think he is actually using the correct entities, which is nice, and it just shows you the benefit of actually doing things properly, as much as it can seem like a big pain.
And I always love it when NPCs shoot through glass to get you. That's just a cool effect.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it certainly makes it feel a lot more perilous.
Yep.
And action-packed. Okay, and then I'm at the point of no return, dropping down into the corridor now. I'm not sure where you're at.
Yeah, I'm actually not too far behind, actually.
Cool.
Maybe about 15-20 seconds.
We're doing quite well. Okay. So next section has a neat little puzzle, which I really enjoyed. And I must admit, I'm trying to remember if I struggled, as I tend to do with puzzles. I don't think so. Oh no, I did. I think initially I was trying to get the doors open. I was trying to, I knew I couldn't shoot the barrels, but I tried anyway, and that kind of thing. Even though you've got
this one. Yeah.
Even though you've got this, creaky, swinging panel going, "Look at me, I'm important," as you would say. Yeah, still took me a few minutes, but it's brilliant in the fact that you can see it drop through. So the use of the glass around the door, is really quite clever. So you can actually see the grenade drop through the other side.
It's cool, because if I remember right, the same kind of vent mechanic using the grenade is used a couple of times later on as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's used once more to get the plug in the next section.
That's right. Yeah.
And and it's a nice little. I mean, we've seen similar kind of stuff before, but I think it's clever just in the fact that he's using the physics of the engine, and everyone loves grenades, and they're actually you can use them in all manner of ways to really. And I think really when you think about it as a gameplay entity, what you've got is something which uses the physics of the engine, and then has a result at the end of it.
Yeah.
And using it when you think about using it that way, then it's actually the possibilities with grenades are quite important. Not important, you know what I mean. Sorry, I'm rambling.
I think Half-Life 2 has probably got one of the best implementation of actually throwing grenades as well. Like, they just seem to go where you aim. It's really weird how it works. I don't think I've ever seen another game being able to do it that well.
It feels intuitive. Even you don't really have to learn how to throw grenades, if you know what I mean. I think the first time I played it, I didn't have to really. It didn't take any effort for me to understand how grenade throwing worked, if you know what I mean.
I don't know what they do, but it works brilliantly.
And it's normally
most games cop out and just put the arc indicator on the screen.
Your
grenade will go here.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it depends on the sort of game you're playing. I mean, for example, if you're playing a multiplayer online shooter, it can be really handy actually to see the arc as to where you're going. But yeah, in terms of this, I think this is the sort of thing that delayed Half-Life 2 for God knows how long, right? It's the things like, you know, people's eyes following you around the room, and you know what I mean, and stuff like that they obsessed over, and you know, and just took forever over. But the results are fantastic. Okay, so I am now heading down the corridor with the dust motes. The crazy dust motes going on. At least I would do if I could find it. I've lost where I'm going. There we go. And I mean, it's an interesting point that he's used them. And you know, dust motes are one way of doing volumetric lighting in the engine. Obviously, you've got the models of the volumetric lighting, and you've got the dust motes. But I kind of missed in Half-Life 2 the ability, because I think back in the old Quake 2 and Quake 3 engine, you could do an actual brush and then cover it in a texture.
Fog brush that contained a fog volume within it, which is really cool.
And it looked awesome, but for some reason it was missing from it. So your choices are really just the models, the dust motes, or I think that's about it. I don't know if anyone's come up with it, but it's a shame no one came up with a decent shader for that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, one thing which I really lament that's lacking from the Source engine is the soft particles, because like you could use the smoke volume.
Oh yeah.
All the sprites just clip through the walls and it looks super ugly.
Yeah.
It's a real shame.
Okay, so I'm now heading into that large area with the lift and the puzzle. But the thing about this is that what I realise is that I don't. Once again, the action should have started once I dropped down out of the.
Yeah, it's a bit premature.
Corridor. Well, I can just sit here, you know, I'm nice and safe, hidden in a cubby hole, and you know, and just pick off the bad guys.
Yeah, totally.
Which, you know, once again, it's an arena battle. That should not have been the case, and we saw that before with, a few of the. What was the other map I played a few months ago? Spherical Nightmares. Did that in several places, which is a shame. Whoa. Zombie in my face.
I mean, aside from the premature release of bullets in this arena, the layout's quite nice. It's got a nice loop to it. There's lots of room to move around.
Yeah, agreed.
Which I like. It's got some nice contained spaces as well, so you don't get all the enemies running at you instantly. There's a little bit of like exploration and finding a couple of new enemies as you're kind of moving around, which I like.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think the compound move around enough for my liking. They tend to stay put, which is a bit of a shame, as it doesn't really use enough of the area. But yeah, it's quite good. And I mean, you've got areas which are covered with combined force fields, right, to prevent, you know, I mean, so it's effectively, he really could have dragged this out, you know. You could have had quite a long combat section. I think it's a little bit short for the great space that he's created. I don't think that it really goes on long enough. I think it would have been quite a nice holdout area and quite a nice holdout arena.
Yeah, I agree. An extra wave or two out of the force fields would have been quite nice.
Or even at certain points through the puzzle.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you completed that section and now, here comes another wave. Which might have felt, once again, a bit gamey. So maybe a more subtle way of putting it together. But still, yeah, I've said it before, I hate seeing really nice areas wasted. Okay, so here we are again with our vent. And our
One thing I really love in this area that you're just coming up to now on the stream, you've probably already done it, but is when you look down from this railing here, you can see the box of grenades below you, and it's like lit up.
Yeah, well. Once again, sight lines.
Hey, use this.
Yeah, exactly. So don't forget, you've got unlimited grenades. I mean, it even gives you grenades at the top, but then, it's amazing. It's really clever, and this is the sight lines thing we were talking about, and the fact that it's all just laid out for you. And I mean, it's interesting. We've talked about it before, I think, with puzzles where, you know, they really don't have to be, they shouldn't be that complicated, because, you know, unfortunately, if it is too involved, then players just don't get it.
Yeah, totally.
But you know, I think this one's quite good in the fact that it's essentially the same puzzle, but you're missing your plug on this one.
I wonder if that grenade thing you just did, where you threw the grenade in the vent and it comes out the other side, I wonder if that's faked. Like you throw the grenade in,
okay.
it triggers it and drops a grenade out the other side. So you don't have to be too accurate, because that could be really annoying, I think.
I don't think it is, because I tried it once and it didn't go through.
Yeah.
I think it just works. I think it is just getting the angle right and chucking it through. At least I like to think. I know what you mean. If it's spawning a grenade and throwing it at the other end, you could be absolutely right. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to decompile this now. Damn
exactly.
it.
But I mean, if it is, that's really clever, because it really does happen naturally. It's timed perfectly. And that's great.
I can imagine a puzzle like that where you have to be very precise with the grenade to get it through. Could be really annoying if it's too hard, and that could be one way to solve that.
Yeah, I think I've been tempted before, but you know when you're doing these things and you're you suddenly it starts getting a million times more complicated than you ever expected it would do. Just because you've sort of gone a bit over the top about the whole thing. But yeah. Okay, so lift comes down. So I guess the alarm goes off when the lift arrives. The title, have you got any more knowledge than I do about why it's called a year-long alarm?
Maybe in this area, if you wait a year, the alarm turns off. That's all I've got.
Brilliant.
I don't know.
It's interesting just because I have a rule about alarms and the fact that, and this actually the map does it very well in the fact that the alarm goes off, but it shuts off again very quickly. Like a continuous alarm going on is just so annoying. Really, can be very, very stressful. Oh, it is actually 2 maps. I thought it was 1. No, okay.
Is it 2?
It's 2. Yeah, it loads up another map when you head up through the.
Okay.
I think
it's been longer than I thought.
I think because you can see the outdoor space from when you're down in the pit, it sort of feels quite joined together.
Yeah. I don't remember this level load at all.
It brings you up into another garage, and it's quite a nice space actually. And the view from the window is
I remember this.
episode 2 quality, in my opinion. Just looking out through the window, you can see the sort of the buildings in the distance.
Yeah, that's a great vista there.
It's fantastic. So we've had our fun of sort of jumping through hoops and doing all kinds of things, and now we're really into the combat, and it really is such a change of pace. And the combat in the previous map really wasn't challenging at all, and you sort of head into a far more interesting combat area. I'm just wondering whether it would have been better to sort of mix it up a bit, rather than.
It's an interesting observation. Yeah, it does kind of change focus completely now, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think it would have been. I mean, it's clear he can do both very well. It's just a shame that it is essentially it's 2 completely separate maps. One's full combat, the other one's much more puzzle oriented with a tiny bit of combat in it that isn't really very challenging. And I think it would have been nicer just to get that mix a little better. Anyway, so dropping down into our point of no return off of the thing, and I mean the mapping, the outdoor mapping here is spot on. Episode 2, it's fantastic. It's beautiful. I love it. He's really, gone to great lengths to get this right.
Yeah, I remember my jaw dropping the first time I walked through here. It was great.
And I think the reflection of the water as well just works when you get down to the pond, the stream at the bottom of the gully. It's fantastic. So moving into the next combat arena, and I will say I think this is probably one of the best combat arenas I've played in a map. The combat is fantastic, and the combine are set up absolutely correctly, in the fact that they really do move around a lot, and also just the vista itself, I think, as well, with the reflection of the water, with the citadel in the background, and the swirling sky is fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, so the flare goes up, and away we go with the combat. But you'll notice that the guys, the combine really do pick their spots and stick to them, and they really do put pressure on you as well.
I remember really enjoying this combat area. I think without the boulders, like the great line of sight, it could have been much more annoying. But they break the space up really nicely, so you have a lot of room to like move around and flank and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think that I really felt encouraged to move. I think in this, which is fantastic, and I think that really is what makes the difference. Is that I mean, the one thing I would say is that I think AR2 soldiers would have been better because there isn't enough threat, and I can just charge them and shotgun them, which is a bit of a shame because I do think this could have been a really sort of elongated combat space, and could have been. And I do think that this map is too easy. It needs to be tougher.
Yeah, there is definitely something to say about having all these, like, so many tactical possibilities, but if it doesn't even matter, if you can just run up to everything and kill it and move on, it kind of renders a lot of it moot, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, okay, so I'm through and I'm done, and it's just, as I say, I just really wanted to, I'm getting a bit tired in maps of just being able to play straight through end to end without dying, really, and without feeling challenged. I'm getting shot from somewhere though, and I can't see who's shooting me.
I think there's a guy up on the raised bit of the side of the bridge.
Got it.
Unless I'm talking out my arse.
I don't know. I can't see you, so I can't tell where you're talking from. I don't
know.
Oh, he's on the. No, he's down at the bottom. I just missed him in my enthusiasm to kill these friends.
Yeah, I think a lot of the difficult thing is sometimes it's easy to forget that we've been playing this game for 10 years and we get really good at it.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to kind of judge difficulty that way sometimes, I find.
That's true. I mean, I think the trick is to make it hard, but make it fun. So that you want to keep trying. If it's difficult and not fun, then people will rage quit and not bother. If it's difficult and fun, then I think you're always willing to get up and give it another go, because you're going to continually apply new approaches and new methods.
The Dark Souls effect.
Yes, I don't know because I haven't played Dark Souls, and I probably should do, but I don't know if I've got the patience for it.
It's definitely one of those just one more try kind of games.
Yeah, which I think is awesome, and I think those kind of games are great. I'm trying to think of something. I mean, Dishonored is a game I've played quite a lot recently. I've gone back to it.
Yeah,
I know that Dan Jordan is a huge fan, and other people as well. It really is the new Thief, better than the actual game Thief, which was terrible. But the
careful.
I can say that, can't I? I'm a critique.
That's about to go. What the hell?
I mean, seriously, if you want to play Thief, go play Dishonored. it's what Thief should have been. But with Dishonored, it is the fun is unpicking the levels in different ways and trying again in a different, and trying all the different tools in your arsenal and trying different methods and combinations.
Yeah, I remember replaying a couple of sections in that map just to see how crazy you could go, and
yeah.
And there's so many different outcomes as well. You're actually kind of what's the word? Pushed to try different ways to do things.
Yeah, and I think that's really what a good map in Half-Life 2 should do, in my opinion. It's we've seen it quite a lot, where essentially you're providing the player with different options, and it's up to them to decide how they want to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of that comes from providing the player with the ability to plan their approach and that kind of thing, which in combat is difficult to do sometimes because it is all happening very, very quickly. Whereas if you look in the official game, you've got say for example the scene at the lighthouse in Half-Life 2, when the Combine fly in, and you get plenty of time because you see the dropship coming, and and you in the Resistance are having time.
Yeah, you can set up for it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about giving those early visual clues as to where the enemy is going to be coming from.
Yeah.
I guess there's different ways you can do that. Dropships work really well, but I guess I'm trying to think. There's like a couple of doors in Half-Life 2 that like blink red really fast before exploding.
It's episode 1. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good way of doing it.
Damn, these rolling barrels, the rolling exploding barrels. When I played this morning, they absolutely wiped me out down to about 10 health.
I got caught out by these, if I remember right, on the first time I played.
Yeah, And after that,
Yep.
there's no decent health pickups. From what I found anyway, I couldn't find any decent health pickups once I got up to the top side, and I was like, crap. And I had to sort of eke my way through it.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I just ran up that corridor, like thinking I was going to shoot someone at the top of it, and just got greeted by 2 or 3 barrels and just died. Yeah.
Oh, it's a great move. I love it.
If I remember right before it happened, so that was nice.
Yeah. No, I had to backtrack, but there was some clutter behind me, and I really got nailed.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so now we're topside, and yeah, I think a bit more health here would have been helpful. You know, we've sort of been through a fair amount of combat there, and whether I'm just being dumb and I couldn't find any health pickups, maybe I will this time.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I don't remember seeing any either.
Saw blade in the face of a shotgun combine is very satisfying indeed. Yeah, I've grown to hate shotgun combine.
Yeah, they're like one of the most dangerous enemies, I think.
Yeah, literally, and take you out very, very quickly. Oh my god, I just killed one of these guys. I think it was a bank shot. With the, it was a... I just hit the saw blade at one of them, it bounced off some logs, and I think I killed the guy with the, with the rebound. Yeah. Okay, I like the fact that he used the rolling logs animation, because I really haven't seen that anywhere. Since since episode 2.
Is that an animation? I thought it was.
No,
physics.
it's not. No, it's physics. You're absolutely right. Well, that's weird because you know, during the I guess maybe he just lifted out of the official map. Maybe he just decompiled it and then. No, you're right. Interesting.
But it's cool that the barrels are down there, so you can just shoot them to get rid of the guys up on the top of the logs.
Yeah, it's a different option to.
Yeah.
It's a different way to kill them, and the more interesting ways you can find to kill the bad guys, the better.
I like the reuse of this space as well. Like when you come back to the front of here, you look down, and it was that valley you came through earlier. It's a really nice reuse of the space.
Yeah, and I think that you know, that's another thing the map does really well. Is sort of folds itself, once again over and over until.
I think I did manage to get out of the map here at one point.
Oh, really?
So I wasn't quite sure where to go, because this door around here, the side, the one that you just went through, is super well hidden, I found. I just didn't see it.
Yeah,
so I was like stacking stuff up on the fences trying to get out the map, and I did find a place where I got outside. Then I got really confused. I'm like, I'm really not supposed to be here, am I? Yeah, I don't know what it was. I just didn't look down this area by the train tracks where all the cars are.
Yeah.
I just missed that door completely.
And actually, what I really like here is you see on the floor there are 2 circle grates. I don't know if you can see these. They're like 2 concrete circle grates, and they mirror the underside.
Yeah.
They're actually the bit where the you can actually see the blood.
On them,
I can see barnacle blood on these, where I killed the barnacles from underneath.
Yeah, that's right.
It's quite a nice, way to get through. How do I get in here? I've forgotten. How do I get into that room? Oh, okay. It's a stacking puzzle?
Isn't it a grenade?
Yes, it's a grenade. It's a grenade puzzle. You're right. Through the window at the top.
I think I got stuck here for a little while as well.
Wow.
I didn't spot the explosive barrels on the opposite side.
Yeah, the sun on the window.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
If the barrels had been raised up a bit, it would have been fine.
Yeah,
but
that explosion just killed my engine for about 2 minutes there. I don't know if it's going to show up on the stream. I think it probably will.
Yep.
Wow. I got a pretty good laptop, or at least it was. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting some lag here up in this room at the top when I'm looking out over back towards the valley.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting some slowdown, some frame rate.
Oh yeah, I see.
Interesting. Okay, so we're turning off the barriers. Let's say hello to Mr. Zombone.
It's cool that when you turn off the combine panel there, it's looking directly out onto the train tracks where you have to get the RPG later on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all lined up once again. The sight lines are fantastic, aren't they? And I mean, I think the vistas in each case as well are really well thought out. And I think that's a really hard thing to do.
Totally.
To get a combination of puzzle solution with vista, all sort of lined up nicely. And he's done it over and over again all the way through.
Yeah.
So I think I'm trying to work out if I'm supposed to answer the radio or.
Oh god, I can't remember.
That's okay. I've got a feeling that the radio is saying, "Oh, are you there, station 12, etc." But I don't really know what I'm supposed to do now. I think I'm supposed to just head out and jump back down, and then the chopper fight starts.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Wow. Okay. Right. Okay. I'm jumping down. Let's see what happens. Oh, I'm back down here again. Okay. And then I'm back out onto the bridge. And head forward onto the bridge itself. And there we go. Okay. So once you head onto the bridge, the alarm goes off, and you pick up the rocket launcher. And we're away. Yeah.
Hey, that's right. To turn off the combine force field.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was a helicopter. It's not. It's the gunship. There. Oh, and I forgot. Yeah, and the logs can go flying as well, which is quite clever. Because it's clever because your cover starts to diminish.
Yes.
The more you fight, which is good.
And you've probably seen it earlier when you were fighting those combined soldiers, so
yeah,
you've hopefully got an idea that can actually happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a nice combat space actually for a gunship because you've got plenty of cover to move around. Yeah,
I mean it's once again a sort of figure of 8 between the different train cars. You can sort of loop around, and if you get it wrong, and it's difficult to make this kind of combat interesting, I think, anymore. As we've talked about this, I mean, I've got a crate of rockets. It's right here, so why is this challenging? I'm not really in too much danger, although I am actually saying that. Oh, there we go. I just picked up some health. My health was not what it should have been.
But yeah, I've played so many gunship fights where there's you're either entirely move at all, or there's just not enough cover.
I just got landed on.
It's really annoying.
Yeah, and then you're done the minute it's dead. But good fun. Like it very much. So yeah, I do think overall it suffers from a bit of a lack of a mix of gameplay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Sorry, just checking. I just fiddled with the switch on my microphone. I think it suffers from a bit of a lack of mix. It's all a bit the same thing as you move along, and yeah, I do think if you'd mixed all of that up into a sort of a longer, even a 2-map thing would have been fine. But if you'd mixed it all up a bit more, it would have been more interesting.
Yeah, I think if there'd been more kind of heavy combat during the first map, and then perhaps another puzzle kind of exploration area in the second map, just to pace it out a little better, that could work quite nicely. And there's a couple of things where you kind of lose your sense of progression in the first map, when you're just in those tunnels and rooms. As nicely designed as they are, you kind of lose the feel of the bigger picture while you're in there. Yeah. Aside from those things, it's really hard to kind of find fault with it.
I know.
It's a really nice map.
But I mean, I think that from a learning perspective, anybody who's looking at designing more, go play it. I think. I think another map which as I said, my one reservation with it is the lack of gaminess to it, in the fact that it is really just moving through spaces, through to the next space, and it doesn't require a lot of you in the fact of you don't need to learn too much, I guess, along the way. Essentially,
I think maybe that's just a mapper style, though.
Yeah,
I feel like that's just the style he likes, like just kind of being very immersed in the environment, kind of exploring and getting a feel for it that way, rather than having very gamey puzzles thrown at you.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just a stylistic thing, perhaps.
I mean, really, if that were dropped into a Half-Life 2 official, mod or map or whatever, I wouldn't blink an eye at that.
Yeah.
I mean that's a real compliment. I hope it is. I wouldn't blink an eye that was in there. I don't think there's anything in there which is jarring or takes you out of the space, which is what I love. I think that's what I'm always aiming for whenever I'm building, and I fail an awful lot. But I think everybody is looking, or everybody wants to play more Half-Life 2, right? And everybody wants to build more Half-Life 2 so that other people can play more Half-Life 2, and I think that this absolutely achieves it.
Yeah, totally.
Very cool. What are you up to today? You doing some more streaming and Map Jam?
Yes, I'll be streaming some more Map Jam 6 for Quake later today. For people watching that have no idea what I'm talking about, it's a Quake similar to, I guess, Philip's mapping competitions, but for Quake the theme is fire and brimstone, so there's going to be lots of lava and rocks and traps and horrible things like that in the maps, I'm sure. So yeah, we've got 2 weeks to build a single player level for that. So
am I right in thinking that there's actually a QuakeCon, right? Is at the moment, and they've actually got a deal of on Steam for all the different Quake-based games.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's a lot of discounts going on. So you should buy Quake. It's really good.
So the original Quake, is that you can get that for nothing, right? Or I think
it's like £4 on Steam or £5.
Gotcha. And then the mapping tools just come with it, or are you downloading? Because there's probably like custom tools that are way better, right?
Yeah, well, you have to download a new Quake engine because the old one's really old, clearly. So yeah, there's an engine called Quake Spasm, which is like, I guess, the accepted standard these days that everyone maps for.
Yeah.
So you just download that for free. You can download a level editor called Jackhammer, which is basically Valve Hammer, but works for Quake.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah.
So if you ever did want to map for Quake, easy transition, I'm just saying.
And is this single player mapping or is it multiplayer?
Yeah, it's single player.
Oh, okay, cool. I myself am going to be diving back into Icewind Dale again and doing a bit of classic RPG. If anyone fancies it, I totally recommend it. It's fantastic. It's about as good as an RPG ever gets. Before they got even better. So, Darren, thank you for joining me. Really appreciate it. Always appreciate your time. Keeping it relatively short, but it's a short map, so I hope people enjoyed listening in. And we'll try and do something a bit sooner. It was a 2-month gap this time. Hopefully we can get it down to a month. So, yeah, hopefully I'll speak to you all soon. Any suggestions for any more maps you want us to cover, please let me know. Thanks.